you reach out to me at very awkward times and, you disturb me or anything like that, or I didn't receive your message and I couldn't reply back and all that stuff, is time. This is what I'm seeking from this conversation or communication. You will be able to build that up. You have to be very sure of that objective. These were the only four things I've done throughout my career till date. And that helped me obviously, at least have a reasonable kind of conversation, I could say confidently, that has never landed me into any kind of a trouble. And I'm always able to scale in my career, right? And I'm probably being approached by an institute like Juno to have this conversation with you. The first one, I've always tried to keep a very, very, very clear objective, right? We need to be sure of what we are trying to communicate. Even if I'm asking for somebody, let's say for a movie, I have an objective there. I'm trying to get a response on somebody saying yes or no for a time I'm going to spend. If I do not have a very, very set objective as to what am I telling the other person, then there is everything falling after that will be wrong, right? So whenever I'm writing an email, let's say, let me put it into a completely business context, and let's say right now, I have very clear defined purpose when I'm writing to somebody, right? There is a particular time where I spend during the day where I'm only making sales pitches. I will take 1 hour of my day and say, okay, because I'm in that headspace at that time. I just say that, okay, this 1 hour, what I'll do is I will figure out some new contacts, new brands that I want to reach out or, talk to, get business for. I put myself in that 1 hour of objective space and a very purpose driven, timeline, that this is the time where I will want to reach out and tell them about my services and then seek a response. So there is a clear objective. There might be other time where I'm trying to just be in my own space where I want to probably write something for LinkedIn. I want to create a content where then I want my purpose and my objective is that I have something to share today. Maybe it's not a very, very factual scientific fact, but there's something that I experienced in my life and I want to mention that out, right? Now, my purpose is when I put it on my LinkedIn, at least people find it readable. I'm not doing it for likes or impressions and all that. That's anyway part and parcel of whatever you do. There will be some bunch of people who will see it, some people will not. But the idea is that whatever I'm putting, at least if I'm putting it in a proper way that when somebody reads it, they understand it, they find it exciting enough. So what I'm trying to just say here is that whichever communication you are drafting, or you're doing a chat, an email, a one-on-one interview, or a session, or a talk, or just a general friendly conversation, you have to be very sure of that objective. Once you know that this is what I'm seeking from this conversation or communication, you will be able to build that up. The second is my structure. This is one of the most important pieces for me. In fact, all four of them are, but structure is very important. The reason being that I am a bit of a talker, right? I love to talk and I also like to write a lot. So, but with time, even if you go to my LinkedIn, let's say 5 years back, and I've been in LinkedIn for over 10 years now, but if you go to my previous post and I have even written blogs, you will see I probably will write this much. But with time, I evolved and I understood that, okay, this won't work now. People don't have time, right? People are living in a Twitter world, for example, X word. So now structure is something where I have evolved a lot. So starting from the subject line to the body that I create, my structure is very clear. There's a very, very initial introduction that I add. It could be depending on what medium I'm using. Say LinkedIn post vis-a-vis email. I will have an introduction statement as to not. I'm not saying that I write as an introduction is this whatever I'm wanting to introduce the person about, right? Then there is a body piece to it where I'm very clear that this is my game. Whatever I do right here, the person either will read it or they will scrap it. So this is very important. I have to put all my facts here. I have to put all my information here. I have to be very clear of what I'm asking, what I'm looking for here. And then there is a closing structure where I have to give them a call to action. Call to action in the sense, now that's a technical term, CTA, we use it quite often. But in my head also, there is a call to action in a way. Either I want them to respond, either I want them to share something back, either I want them to take it forward, or either I'm just telling them to know about it. But there would be something that I want them to do of my message, right? So I would leave that as a closing statement that, okay, this is it. And then I have built a little bit of a persona of my own that how do I start the salutation? Now, even in my business setup, with the level of communication that I build over, I usually start my emails with hey, right? I will write hey Nidhi. Though we have been taught from the time where we have to write dear Nidhi. to then transitioning to hello Riddhi. And I'm not even hello, dear Nidhi, dear sir, hello ma'am. Coming from those kind of career days to now where I'm able to transition myself to be a little bit semi-formal. I can write like, hey, and in the end, at times I just add cheers. But this is not something I'm saying that you have to do it as part of your personality. It's something that you can develop. And you should not be very afraid and shy about that. Oh, how can I add a cheers? Cheers is about, literally cheersing. No, that's not there. It's something about that you are a very friendly person. You are a very approachable person. You have a little light-hearted approach towards the communication that you do. Moving into the next one, medium. I think throughout the conversation we had in the last 30, 40 minutes, I've been talking a lot about the mediums that are there, right? Medium is very, very important. So, like my preferred choice of medium, even after 20 years of my career, is an email, right? Because I think email gives me two, three things. It gives me the liberty to have enough information and attach a lot of things and provide it in a very safer, comfortable environment for the individual. It allows me to give that time to that individual. They don't have to kind of write away. They're not in a chatty mode. They have that their time to absorb what I have provided. They can read through it, make their own references, go to different website, whatever they have to, download that information, see it, and then reply back to me with as much as they want to provide. So it allows me all that. And one of the most important things that it allows me to do is not step into the privacy zone of people, right? Which we sometimes do with the chat. Even on LinkedIn, you will see a lot of people start a chat with you. LinkedIn, so there, guys, there is a chat box and there is an inbox. Inbox is supposed to serve the purpose of leaving a message, as in, like an inbox email. Even that what we have on social media profiles is mostly treated like that. But sometimes what we start to do is consider it like an Instagram chat. We start to chat with them. We'll write hi. Then the other person will be waiting, okay, hi. But you're not in that setup. You've just gone to LinkedIn to do something, let's say professional, and then you are just waiting. Tell me what are we trying to do? And I'm telling you, these are the things that we do. Any fresh first connection. I don't even know that individual, but LinkedIn is a platform which allows stranger connections as well, professional setup. So sometimes you're just wondering, what are we trying to do here? Just tell me what do you want from me, and if that is of any value, and I can come back to you for something, I will respond back to you. And the last thing that I'm very particular about is, and I think works for me very well, and nobody probably would have come back and ever complained to me in my throughout my career that you reach out to me at very awkward times and you disturb me or anything like that, or I didn't receive your message and I couldn't reply back and all that stuff. Is time. We understand in what time zone they are in, what kind of setup they might be. Like we expect family people to respond at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. We kind of do not give them that 1 or 2 hours of the evening with their families. We expect people to suddenly wake up to our call, message only. That 7 o'clock, we will immediately expect that as soon as they wake up, the first thing they should do is reply back to us. So timing of your communication is very important, right? Even if I translate it to a very physical one-on-one setup, very important. If there is somebody waiting for you and you landed up late, that communication time has actually been hampered. If you were not even sensitive enough to notify that individual on time, which is very important, especially if you're a salesperson, that if there is a meeting being set up and there is any kind of a communication delay, or you're reaching late or anything like that, please always top that up with a first layer of communication in the sense of notifying that individual, right? There is a notification channel as well where you let that person know that there is a delivery, there is a delay happening. We expect that even from the Swiggy guy who's not even equipped probably to do that, but we even expect from that chap that if he's 5 minutes late, then he didn't tell us, right? So imagine in a business situation, you land up in a meeting late and you didn't inform the person and you lost out on that time of thing and you have set up the whole context wrong. No matter how good your objective structure medium, you have lost that out. So I think that is very, very important. And that on top of all of it, which I had mentioned earlier as well, is something which is like your personality. And trust me, whether you do it intentionally or unintentionally, but the other person has actually already made up a brand image of you as to this is how you communicate, right? They have identified those non-effective and effective ways. They will never say it to you probably outrightly. Maybe they might in some setups, but people have already made that choices. People know that, okay, this individual this is how they communicate. These are few things that I have to look after them. Like people sometimes make people, tell them that we require it in next 1 hour, though they would not need it for 4 hours. Why would they do that? The only reason we allow that to be happening is to us is because creating that urgency, because we have always been late in our, responses. So the person has already made that, approach around is that because this person will always send me the information late, let me put a more urgent timing to him because I will then have the bandwidth. So whatever we have been doing from today to before, it has already made a perception around us, but we can change it to whatever we just discussed. And you yourself, maybe after the call, if you're really serious about this topic and you really came to somewhere change your communication style, right after the call you should actually sit down just with those two things, that what are the non-effective things that doesn't work for me. I'm not asking you to do it that what you do wrong, but what is it that don't work for me. Put down those 5, 10, 20, 30 things, and then what are the things that work for you, what you like and you don't like, and you will be easily able to pick it up that okay, and then be honest enough to yourself to say that okay, but I do this myself, right, and this is what I do, and just flip them, and here is your effective communication style.